Example number 2. So this is going to highlight learning target number 1.3e. And so we're going to add the numbers and state the direction on the standard number line. The result will be relative to the two numbers being summed. And so when we look at the first example, so take a moment and I'm going to let you hit pause if you have not done so already and complete this example, and then I'll work through it with you. And so looking at the first example, what we have are two positive numbers. And so when we add two positive numbers, if you recall, adding two positive numbers means that on the standard number line, adding two positives will move further to the right. Now, that is just a generalization that's going to work for all positive real numbers. But if I want to check myself, I can say that 14.1 plus 13.63 is equal to 27.73. And if I were to draw the standard number line, okay, and just in general, I would put 13.63 here. I also know that 14.1 wouldn't be a greater number, so it's going to be a little bit to the right. And if I were to have to place 27.73 on the number line, it would be way over here for 27.73, which is moving to the right. So that is a visual representation of what we can deduce just by looking at the numbers themselves and thinking about some of the rules we've already discussed. Okay, so I'm going to write this back in. Okay, so the next question. Negative 101.24 plus a negative 85.71. So the first thing we have to determine, are we adding numbers with same or different signs? Now we have to be careful because initial thought may be, oh, the signs are different because I have a negative and I also have a positive. But that positive is just representing the addition or summing the two. Inside the parentheses, notice that we have a negative 85. So we have a negative 101.24 and a negative 85.71. So we have these same signs being added. Well, in this case, we have two negative numbers being added. And when we add two negative numbers, we know that it will move to the left. The result will be to the left on the standard number line. So just to double check ourselves, we need to add the negatives together. And the result in this case will be negative 100. Oh, let's write it over here. Negative 186.95, which is a smaller number than either of those. And we know that as we move to the left on the standard number line, the numbers decrease in value. And so we are correct once again. Finally, we have 32.31 plus a negative 57.12. And we have a negative. We have our addition of that negative. However, there is not a sign out there. So since there's not a sign that is shown, we can conclude that it is a positive. So we're adding a positive and a negative. So we are adding numbers with different signs. And in this case, we are adding a positive and a negative. And so when we look at the direction, we have to look at it relative to one of the two. Well, let's look at it relative to the positive. Relative to the positive number. So the positive number is 32.31. Okay? So that's our positive number. So if we have 32.31, way over here would be negative 57.12. We're going to start here and figure out which direction our result will be when we add 32.31 and negative 57.12. So the result of those 32.31 plus a negative 57.12 is equal to negative 24.81, which on the standard number line would be between the two. We'll estimate there. And we have moved relative to the positive number, we have moved to the left. And so we can say that the direction that we move relative to the positive number is to the left. Relative to the negative number, we moved to the right for our result.